Welcome everyone tonight. It is now 6:30 PM. This is June the 3rd, 2024. This is the regular meeting for the Planning and Zoning Commission. We do have a quorum tonight. You have myself, Derek Parks. Michael, Vice Chair, is present. Karen, member, Kevin, member. Susie, she's present here tonight, member also, and we have Brian Bell as an alternate member here. And also too with the city staff, we have Ben, Director of Development Services, and Emma, Planning and Zoning Manager here tonight. One of the items for the consent agenda item is approving the minutes from May the 6th of 2024. Commissioners, you had a chance to read those. Any questions or concerns regarding the minutes from May the 6th, 2024? All right, and could I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The minutes from May the 6th have been approved. Moving along to the new business, which is number 2. And this is a conduct a public hearing and consider a zoning change from Plan Development 66R5 to Plan Development 173 for the development of a convenience store with gas pumps on the site identified as PID number 274599 and located on the northwest corner of Cole Road and Ovilla Road within the Edmund Shirley Survey, abstract number 1013, City of Red Oak, Ellis County, Texas, case number Z as in zebra, C as in cat 24-09, requested by Vaquero. Staff, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. You all have actually seen this request. You recommended approval on April 1st, 2024, and the City Council did recommend denial without prejudice, so it allows them to come back without having to wait a year. They had some questions about the way that the building looked and how it fit in the residential subdivision. And some questions came up and statements about building materials. So the applicant did resubmit. Everything is basically the same except for they did change the elevations and all of the exterior materials are masonry now. And they have added the pergola on the south side, which faces residential subdivision. And this is no longer a Nichiha fiber cement panel, which is like a hardy plank type material. And they also added the faux windows on the rear side. And I also brought up.
Can you go to the map real quick, just to remind everybody where this is at?
Mhm. So this is the initial submittal with the Nichiha fiber cement panels without the pergola and without the faux windows. This is the primary facade where the changes were made on the building materials.
Is this the one by the Rocket Water Tower?
Yes.
Yeah. And the soccer field's behind it?
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
So the convenience store still, the specs are the same. It's going to be about 4,751 square feet. Total site is about 1.8 acres and it will be subdivided into 2. They did show on their development plan a common access easement, which will provide for future access to whichever type of development goes here in the future. And this site will have to come back before the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council as well for approval. And their landscaping, they did meet all of the city, they met or exceeded the minimum landscape requirements. Are there any questions?
Not at this time. Ben, did you want to add something?
No, it was same layout, so there was no additional changes on the layout. And there was no issues on the layout, prior.
Okay. All right, this is a, public hearing. Those in favor of this item, you can go first. Those who have questions or concerns, you can go second. So the floor is open, and please state your name and your address, please.
Brad White, 2627 Tiller Street, Fort Worth, Texas. So like Emma said, this is the same thing. Everything is the same except for the building materials, from what was approved in April. City council, they came back, they said they wanted to see some upgraded, the rear elevations be changed a little bit. And the Nichia panel, they wanted that changed. So now we're 100% masonry materials. Specifically, it's all stone and brick. As Emma pointed out, the windows on the back of the store. And then we added the patio covering, that was kind of, it just enhanced the patio a little bit more and made it a better amenity to the soccer fields and the neighborhood aspect behind it. So, but yeah, like I said, everything else is the same for my first submittal. And if y'all have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Anyone has any questions or against this agenda item? If not, can I have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Public hearing has been closed. Commissioners, have any questions for the applicant or for the city staff?
So, I watched the council meeting, but shame on me, I can't remember everything he said. I know Councilman Goodwin had some comments, and Mr. Franklin too. Did they meet all of the requests or concerns that they had?
There weren't necessarily requests. It's more comments, similar to our meeting. I, showed them the pictures of kind of what we had suggested at the staff level in our pre-development, and pre-submittal meetings. And they were impressed with that building and then looked at what was provided, and they didn't necessarily give any specific 1, 2, 3 direction type thing. It was more, that doesn't look as good as it could. Please come back with something different. And this is what has been resubmitted as something different.
Commissioners, any other questions?
It's an
Thoughts?
improvement. The windows help break up the expanse of brick and using actual masonry and putting the pergola. I don't know if it'll satisfy council, but it's an improvement.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, can I have a motion for agenda item 2, please?
Move that we approve. Move that we approve.
Okay,
I'll second.
second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. A consent agenda item, number 2, new business is approved. Moving along to number 3, which is staff presentation and direction to capital improvements of advisory committee regarding updated water, wastewater, and roadway impact fee reports.
Sorry, I thought it'd be easier to just come down here. Is it in this? Oh. Well, I try to get there. Not that I need anything specific to look through, but, I'd mentioned, I think 2 meetings ago that we would be, the council would be looking to, appoint this commission as the, Capital Improvements Advisory Commission. And so they did that at the last meeting. Well, I guess let me start with, the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee is put together for the review of impact fee studies and what we want to charge for impact fees for permits. Impact fees are a way for cities to collect. It's a one-time fee that's collected at the time of permitting to help offset the cost of infrastructure. So every time new business goes in, we get more travel on the roadways degrade faster. We use that money to utilize for capital improvements, like widening the roads or redoing roads or things like that. Same thing with water and sewer. Every time we build a new house, we make a new connection, the water pressure drops just a little bit, which is not a big deal until it's 1,000 houses and now we need a new water tower. That's just, that doesn't really happen, but that's the basis of the idea, right? And so 5 years ago or 6 years ago now, 2018, we adopted our first impact fee is just water and sewer. So that was adopted by the council in 2018. And we're required by law to update those every 5 years. And so we do a new study, make sure our growth pattern is still aligned with our master plans. We tweak the master plan if needed, and all new numbers are run based on the master plan so that when development comes, we know that we need a water tower here, we need a 16-inch water line here, we need a 12-inch sewer line here, so on and so forth. So what I've got in front of you guys is the update to the water sewer master plan, along with the updated impact fee study for water and sewer. What is new, and that, by the way, wouldn't require a CIAC committee, but what is new is the roadway impact fees. So in 2018, the council did not have roadway impact fees in with the water and wastewater, and now we're adding it in as part of the fee structure. And it's pretty common throughout DFW. Most cities have roadway impact fees, just because that is probably the largest cost a city bears. So just kind of going through some of the numbers right now. Let's see, way down. And I'm trying to just give a 10,000 foot view on this to make it quick. So right now, and this, I'll use this top one as an example. This is what we charge on a new home. So any new home in Red Oak pays roughly $34.56 in impact fees for water and sewer only. And so what the report establishes is, hey, you've got a need of $120 million. I don't know what the number is, but it's in here. You've got a need of $120 million of water and sewer infrastructure. So when we split that up over all the businesses and all the houses and all the and it's based on meter size, we come up with a maximum assessable fee. And so in 2018, the maximum allowable was for both was around $4,800 per house, if we're using a house as an example. But the council chose to set it at this 3,400 number. Was based on, surrounding cities, what they're charging, kind of be in line with that so that we're not pushing away development and home builders because our fees are so high. Now, we still had an advantage, even though we were charging water and sewer impact fees, we weren't charging roadway impact fees. So we were still able, that was still an easy draw for builders and developers to come here. So adding into this will be roadway impact fees. And the roadway impact fees are calculated slightly differently than the water and wastewater. Water and wastewater, we designate the whole city and have the entirety of the infrastructure in the city as the total number, that giant number that we have to split up into smaller units. For roadway impacts standpoint, we actually break the city into service areas. So if you can look in the report, and we've kind of got it set into 2 different service areas. And then within those service areas, you've got the roadways from the transportation plan, which is adopted in the comprehensive plan. And they're broken out like, what projects would be in what section. Basically about 342 is the dividing line. So 342 to the west is section 1 and 342 to the east is section 2. So if we were to get a new permit on either side of that break, there's a calculation table that we use, that is based on, vehicle, miles per development unit. And if you want to read detailed in the report, simply it takes, essentially a lot of data from traffic manuals and kind of reduces, is very reductionist of how a development affects the street. And it's basically like, you got 2 cars, you're going to drive to work, you're going to drive your kids to school, and then you're going to go to soccer practice after work. So you have 3, trips per day per vehicle. And then it reduces it down to a factor. And then again, you have this giant number in here. If I remember off the top of my head, it was like north of 200 million for roads. So you take this giant number and then you reduce it down as small as you can into the serviceable units of what's being developed. So something like a drive-through is going to generate tons of cars going through, right? So they're going to pay a higher roadway impact fee. But you take that base unit, in our service areas, it's $1,100 per service unit. And then there'll be a multiplier, and the multiplier, there's a chart in the report, that you'll have this multiplier. And so let's see, single family detached is 4.61. So it'd be 4.61 times 1,100. That's the maximum accessible. We don't have to charge that. We can charge something on par with other cities. I would say that's pretty close to on par with some of the other cities around. So what the council is looking at, from the CIAC is, which is you guys, is any input or comments you may have on the report and on the numbers based in the report. And if you think that there are any additional factors, or that, I think in the last, from what I was told, I wouldn't hear, but there's a big concern over, we're going to push developers away by having these fees because we've never had them before. Well, guess what? We still grew and everybody still came and everybody built houses. I think it's the standard operating procedure in all the cities now is they have these impact fees, and we're kind of last to the game to get them. So in my opinion, it's not really going to turn away anybody. But that could be your opinion, and you don't want to have them, or you don't want them to be high, or you want to be 50% of the maximum or whatever. So as you look through this report, take that into consideration. What do you think? Well, what's the greater good? Is the greater good to have enough money that we can service and build out our city with the amount of water and sewer and roadway infrastructure that we need? Or is it more important just to get development on the ground now and let somebody else worry about it? I'd say don't do that. Makes for a big giant Ponzi scheme. But and then unfortunately, it's a one-time fee, so you don't get to collect it continuously. So it's kind of a one-time fee that covers us for now and not forever. So and when we do collect these fees, they go into a special fund. They can only be used for these certain things. It can't be used for other things. So for example, in in the service areas for the roadway impact fees, you got service area 1 and service area 2. Well, if there's a house built in service area 1 and they pay an impact fee, you can only spend it on a project in service area 1. Can't take it and put it in service area 2. Now, water and sewer is different because it's the whole city. There's no service area. So sometime before next meeting, you can, we don't have to meet outside of this, and you guys can just read through this and give us any comments you may have. And like I said in my report, no comments is a great comment if you choose so. And I'd be more than happy to answer any of the questions. If you do have questions, you can call me or email me directly on them. But ultimately, it's up to the council to set the fee. We'll probably come up with a staff recommendation between Public Works and city management of kind of based on if y'all have any input, but based on the kind of surrounding cities and what their current impact fees are, so that we're not crazy out of line, either too low or too high. So.
Better? So could you get that information for us so we can make some comments if we have any, with regard to what the cities around us are doing, Ellis County?
I do have
Get that
that.
2018 numbers though? that 23?
This is current numbers as of today. So you've got the 2020. So I'm sorry. So what this means here, 2023 max, that's what the report says we could charge by law, right? Because we've done this huge study and here's all the numbers and this is what we could charge. So it could be up to $17,000. This 2023 max Rocket is basically what that means is that Rocket charges impact fees. So they have to pay that to Rocket. And then you add in our fees using the max. Ennis has none, Duncanville, DeSoto have none, and then the rest of these are the current fees in these respective cities.
And we're pretty sure those are the current fee. Okay, last complaint, never mind. I see it
Yes.
there. It's over.
Like you said, man, these are the max numbers these cities can charge. Is that correct?
These are the max city, these first two are the max that Red Oak could charge.
Okay.
The rest of these are what the
Actuals.
other cities are actually charging right now. And they got a report extremely similar to this one.
Okay.
Probably assessment could be this, but we're gonna keep it around here. But they could also be, our max assessment was this, and that's what we're gonna have to charge. For example, on our water and wastewater in 2018, we did charge the max sewer that was accessible. And based on our sewer infrastructure, I would say we probably need to do that again.
I know you said the emailing questions and I don't want to hold everybody up. So that I'm clear, this fee is something the developer has to pay to get the permits to build a house.
Yes,
Okay, what about a business moving into a rental space? Do they have to get it to get a certificate of occupancy?
No.
So it's only on new builds?
it's new construction.
Okay.
Yes,
That's what I was trying to find, the difference, how it's gonna impact businesses versus
right.
resident, yeah, okay.
Can I clarify on the first page of the agenda? Under the sewer and the roadway, it says 2023 maximum minimum allowable.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was copying and pasting in a fury. Must have missed that. Okay, so in 2018, the max allowable was 32.96 for water. And then the actual fee that came out of it was 18.75. And so the 2023 allowable per the report was 84.40. Yeah, so this should be 2023 maximum allowable, 35.59. Same thing with this maximum allowable. And that's based on just a single family house. Is where that 53.19 number comes, and that comes from your maximum from in a service area multiplied by that number that's in that chart of 4 whatever 6 or 4.6.
And the service areas for the roadways, it looks like it actually divided along Pratt, maybe it's a 3.2.
That may be
Why have two service areas? How does that work?
It's broken up into service areas in order to more logically direct the traffic where it would be going. So if it's over there at Pratt, that's kind of the western half or the eastern part of our city, utilizing more of the eastern roadway network over there. I don't have the super technical answer for that. This is all being done by our Public Works Department and the consultant. But I can get you deep dive answers of whatever you need.
Yeah, I mean, I wondered that too. Why 2 zones? Why does that money have to stay in that zone? Kind of thing.
I can get you answers on that. I don't have that right now.
So when someone builds, like we're over on, at Cole Manor,
Mm-hmm.
so we all have septic and we're all Rocket.
Right.
So do you think that these fees impact the size of the lot that people are gonna choose?
No, so in the specific case you're talking about, they would still have to pay an impact fee to Rocket,
Right,
but you'd not pay a sewer impact fee because you're on septic.
Right.
So you're not making an impact to our sewer system.
right.
So the only new fee that the Cole
If
Manor
someone was to
neighborhood would
build,
have is
yeah.
the roadway impact fee.
Okay,
And so that would be in this case in section 2, and that would help make an improvement to Cole Road in the future sometime.
I'm assuming that these impact fees only partially fund
So
the
It-
improvements.
So, yeah, so when you, I don't remember what page the full, the big numbers on. Yeah, so service area 1, you got total cost of $320 million of roadway, so. You essentially take that and you take your existing zoning areas. And you kind of take your best guess at, based on the zoning, what businesses will be there. And so that's how the fees are kind of cut down and how many service units you'll have, and then you have your multiplier. But logically, no, they will never pay for it. But it just helps. It just helps. It helps to kind of have the developer pay their fair share of affecting the city's infrastructure.
My only comment would be, looking at that first table of the fees charged by other entities has not hampered their growth.
No,
You look at Midlow and Waxahachie and they're, you don't see any reduction in their growth or.
Right,
none-
I
it's
think-
negligible if there is any.
I think Midlothian's actually one of the highest. Yeah, it is at
Yeah.
almost $13,000 for a single family house.
And they're growing houses there like mushrooms.
Yes. Yes, like I said, it's now so standard in most cities that, when the developers buy the land, they don't even take it into account. It's just extra gravy for them at the end if they don't have to pay it.
Right.
So
They're gonna pass it on. And the
They
council-
will, they
Yeah.
do.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
the market still caps the price of the house, right? So it's still gonna be whatever you can get a loan for. That's how much they're gonna sell the house for.
On some of these, I noticed that they say, State Highway 342. What's our responsibility in that?
So that would be for us to participate in a textile widening. Project.
Make us chip in for it.
Yeah,
It's like ripping chip in for a railroad.
yeah,
Very rude.
yeah. Well, for our little city, we sure did put in a lot of money for Ovilla.
Yeah,
We
you
had to
sure
pay
did.
for partial of right of way as well as, moving utilities and other things.
I do have to say that they did utilities along Cole Road. For those of us that are in the city, it looks magnificent. As soon as I drive that little piece
Yeah.
and then there's the poles again and I'm like, "Eh."
Yeah.
But hey, the county's got to do their part, so. On the
They-
city
they
side, it
won't
looks-
ever
it looks
change.
Fabulous.
So you talk about how, there's the maximum and then the council's gonna set whatever they set. But you said there's a table and it looked like it's based on the service size of the utilities.
Yes, so
So
the,
you set the lower one and then the table just kind of follows suit.
yes, so the impact is caused by basically the hole you put in the pipe,
Okay.
right? You put a 4-inch hole in a pipe, it's gonna cause a lot more impact than a 1/2-inch hole.
Gotcha.
And so that's why it's based on meter size. And then obviously based on how much water you use is how much sewer you're gonna use. And so the sewer and water are both based on the meter size.
But the smallest size would be like a single home.
Right,
Okay.
yes.
Just out of curiosity, can you put into perspective where Bombardier or Walmart would fall on this table?
So they don't have big meter. They're not big water users.
Okay,
So other users that use a lot of water, our biggest one in the city is a 12-inch meter. It's not even on the list. So we
Okay.
had to do a lot of special things to get them. And we had to get a special company to build a special meter just so that they could have it. But Bombardier, I'm not 100% sure what their meter size is. I want to say it's a 4-inch. I
so it's,
know-
it's based on what's going on in the building
Right.
as opposed to square footage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Walmart doesn't really, they water their produce a little, they use a little water in the gardening section, and then
Yeah.
they've got bathrooms and little kitchens, so. I don't know what their
Okay.
meter size is, and they probably have a secondary sprinkler only meter,
Okay,
because if you have a sprinkler only meter, then you don't have to pay sewer.
gotcha.
Even the data centers that aren't water cooled, they aren't.
They,
Wow.
so then you start getting into when the buildings are huge like that, you have to have enough fire flow. And so their meters actually aren't small. I believe the compass meters are somewhere like around 4-inch, but that runs, I mean, they've got a ton of irrigation and then they've got fire suppression systems, and then they have to have, on-site fire hydrants as well.
None of those businesses, nobody's getting hit with the road right now, right? That's what you're saying?
No, no, there's
So we don't
no-
have it at all for anything.
Correct.
Okay.
Like you said, I mean, like you said before, developers are pretty much used to these fees anyway, right? It's not like, okay, I gotta pay roadway impact fees, I'm gonna go somewhere else.
I can't say that somebody wouldn't do that, but based on the fact that almost every other city in North Texas charges impact fees, it is a standard operating procedure in development. And actually, when we get calls all the time of people trying to do their kind of upfront due diligence on property, and they go, okay, what are the impact fees? You know, like, so they know, they expect them to be there. And when I tell them we don't have roadway, they go, oh, okay. And again, they've already made the deal with the landowner. It's just all gravy for them at the end. So they were coming regardless, I guess, to say. It seems like.
There are some cities that charge a fee to help offset the cost of building schools. You know. That's a different subject. Different.
Well,
committee.
yeah, that's a different, I don't even know if we can do that. Yeah, we can't.
No, you
That's-
guys can't, so,
Yeah,
but I know that there are cities that do charge that. Exactly.
oh, yeah, we can't do that.
Different taxing.
Right.
A singular taxing unit as opposed to,
Right, yeah,
multiple.
two separate entities.
And you're really looking at what, less than 5%, less than 3% of the cost of a new home,
Right,
somewhere in that neighborhood
yes.
Right now.
yeah, right now.
or less.
Ben, do you know the statutory requirements on the advisory committee with regard to comments?
So we just need to have given you them, and you've been appointed as the advisory committee. And so, like I said, no comments is a comment that is acceptable.
But if we make comments, they have to be submitted in writing within a certain time period.
Just before the public hearing for the council. So,
And when is that? Do we know?
it'll be in July.
July?
Yeah.
So we'll have another meeting here.
Are we
before.
meeting,
Yeah,
July
so-
1st is first Monday, is that gonna be our date?
Yes, that's a Monday, and then the 4th is on Thursday, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, comments can be an email to me, or a letter to me, or however you want to do it.
But you need something from each one of us, a no comment or a comment, is that right? Or,
That would be helpful and appreciated,
okay,
just so I can stick it in the old file.
makes sense. Commissioner, have any more questions? No questions. Just homework. Just homework. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, Ben, for giving this, this presentation and information. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Ayes have it. We are adjourned.